The case everyone saw, but no one stopped. What unfolds here is not a mystery. It's a record of what was visible, documented, and ignored. This story is unsettling not because it's hidden, but because it wasn't. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear may change how you recognize truth when it's standing right in front of you. Let's begin. Buried in plain sight. The case everyone saw, but no one stopped. There is a belief we like to hold on to, that the worst things happen in secret, that danger hides in the dark, that if something truly serious were unfolding, someone would notice and someone would stop it. This story challenges that belief, because what you are about to hear was not hidden. It was not buried underground. It did not happen behind locked doors. It happened openly, publicly, repeatedly. Everyone saw it, and no one stopped it. The beginning. It did not begin with violence. It did not begin with a scream. It began with something ordinary. A post, a clip, a document, a moment shared in plain view. At first, it seemed insignificant, something easy to scroll past, something familiar enough to ignore. No alarms sounded, no warnings appeared, and because nothing dramatic happened, nothing happened at all. What was seen? Over time, the evidence accumulated, not in one place, not in one file, but scattered, fragmented, everywhere. Screenshots, footage, records, patterns. Each piece alone looked harmless. Together, they formed something else. People noticed. They commented, they shared, they asked questions, cautiously. But questions did not lead to action. They led to discussion, and discussion became delay. The first excuses. The earliest responses were gentle. Maybe it's being taken out of context. There's probably more to the story. We don't have all the facts yet. These were not lies. They were comforts. They allowed people to remain still without feeling responsible. Waiting felt reasonable. Waiting felt mature. Waiting felt safe. So people waited. Normalization. As time passed, repetition changed perception. What once seemed alarming became expected. The human mind adapts quickly. What shocks us once barely registers the 10th time. The behavior continued. The signs remained visible, but they blended into the background. Like noise you stop hearing. Like damage you stop noticing. This was not ignorance. This was normalization. There were thousands of witnesses. Not silent witnesses, active ones. They watched. They reacted. They engaged. But engagement is not intervention. Each person assumed someone else was closer, more qualified, more responsible. And when everyone assumes that, no one acts. This is known as diffusion of responsibility. But knowing the term does not prevent the behavior. Eventually, experts appeared. analysts, commentators, professionals. They explained why this was complicated, why it required nuance, why it could not be rushed. Their words were measured, and because they were measured, they felt reassuring. The presence of experts gave permission to wait longer. The critical moment. There was a moment, brief, fragile, when action was possible. The signs were clear enough. The consequences were foreseeable. The solution, while uncomfortable, was obvious. It required someone to step forward first, to be visible, to be accountable, to accept risk. No one stepped forward, because visibility carries cost. And in systems like this, doing nothing is always cheaper than doing something. The moment passed, quietly. Silence disguised as noise. After that, the conversation grew louder but less meaningful. Arguments replaced solutions. Opinions replaced decisions. Outrage appeared, then disappeared just as quickly. People confused expression with impact. They believed speaking was the same as stopping. It was not. The disappearance. Nothing officially ended. There was no announcement, no resolution, no conclusion. The story simply faded. New topics replaced it. New crises demanded attention. The unresolved became forgotten, not erased, just buried beneath newer noise. And what is not actively remembered is effectively gone. The question. Occasionally, someone would ask, "Whatever happened to that situation?" The answer was always vague. "Oh, that." As if it were old news, as if it had resolved itself. It had not. What this really was. This was not a failure of information. The information was everywhere. This was not a failure of intelligence. People understood the risk. This was a failure of responsibility. A collective decision to let visibility replace action, to let awareness substitute for courage. Why nothing stopped it? Because stopping something requires ownership. And ownership means consequences, criticism, exposure, blame. It is easier to observe than to intervene, easier to comment than to commit. And when everyone chooses easier, the outcome is guaranteed. The truth. The most disturbing part is not that this happened. It is that it happens often, over and over, in different forms, different places, different names. Always visible, always documented, always waiting for someone else to act. Closing. This case was not buried because it was hidden. It was buried because it was visible. So visible that people walked past it without stopping. No shovel was required. Only distance, delay, and the quiet agreement that someone else would handle it. They never did. Nothing in this case was concealed. Nothing required belief. It happened in the open, and that is what makes it difficult to forget. If stories like this matter, stories grounded in observation, not speculation, support the channel. Like the video. Share it with someone who needs to see it. And subscribe if you want more investigations into the things everyone notices and no one stops. The truth doesn't end here. It waits to be acknowledged.